We're going to start asking you about the Lakers and the close games they're playing and LeBron's minutes. But let's all marvel at Lou Dort's defense on LeBron here. This is mesmerizing.
Love it.
3 straight overtime games for the Lakers. They won them all. Of course, that means more minutes for LeBron. Frank Vogel says the plan is to be responsible, but to win the games. Jorge Sedano, around the horn to you. Is it okay the focus be on February wins, or should it be on LeBron's minutes?
Okay, first of all, we need to focus on Lou Dort a little more. Shout out to Lou Dort employing the Shane Battier-style defense, who was the first guy who'd ever put the hand in the face. He used to do that during his battles with Kobe Bryant, and then Lou Dort added the 2 hands in the face, adding on to the Shane Battier legacy of defending guys. All right, so here's the deal with LeBron, Tony. If there's anything he hates, it's talking about rest. He hates the fact that we got to talk about him and his minutes and as he's getting older, because all those things talk about his mortality. But the reality is this. It is February. This team is focused on winning a championship, and they're as deep as they've ever been. You look at a guy like Wes Matthews, who had 4 DNPs and has been a big part of them winning these last couple of games. Mind you, he started 70-some-odd games for the Milwaukee Bucks last year, who were the #1 overall seed in the NBA. So that just goes to...
All right, you're getting a little bit lost here. LeBron is playing more minutes in the last 10 games than he has all season to win these games in February. Is that the right move, Jorge Sedano?
I mean, it is in the short term, but in the long term, I don't think it's
the
right approach. I think he needs to sit.
Bob Ryan, I'll bring you in here on this. The February wins versus LeBron minutes. Where do you stand on that?
In general theory, they have to be careful about this, because the most important thing when you get to the playoffs is not seeding, it's not home court, which has no relevance this year at all, it's health. And so they have to remind him of this. Now, that said, LeBron James has been a minutes guy his whole life. He has led the league in minutes, played 3 different times, okay? He is better than other people. He's not like everybody else. He's in better shape than the 98% of the people. This is the byproduct of that, not to mention his mental strength and his mental desire to win. So, but they have to sit him down a little one time and say, look, LeBron, we can't overdo this. I mean, they got to pick their spot. Surely there's going to be a spot in the schedule. Surely there's going to be a game when they can set him down. But the fact is that he can handle this. They just don't want to go too crazy.
Kevin Blackistone.
First of all, Lou Dort was playing the Marcel Marceau defense. That's what I would call that. Tell him about it, Bob. But look, let's get to LeBron's minutes right now. I don't worry about it. Why? Because he averaged 38.3 minutes per game for his career. You look at the top 25 minutes per games guys in the history of the NBA, and there's only one guy who's playing today who's in that top 25. This is not a guy who's going to sit out games. This is not a guy who needs Greg Popovich's rules. He's not Kawhi Leonard. He's not even Anthony Davis, who has missed the last couple of games nursing that Achilles tendon. So you know what? This is what he does. He stepped up. He's playing 41 minutes the last 3 games, these 3 overtime games. He's about winning, and this is what it takes with LeBron.
You know, you
James.
brought up Marcel Marceau like no one else knows. You know what he did? He invented the first mute button. That's what he did. Emily Kaplan, join us here. February wins versus LeBron minutes.
I don't think we're talking about the real motivation for him, which is winning an MVP. He hasn't done it in years. And look, entering the season, all of the focus was on what a challenge it would be in this short offseason, because it had historically never been done before. But historically, athletes have never had the resources that are available to them now, and the advances we've made in sports science are so significant. A couple years ago, Mav Carter said that LeBron spends $1.5 million a year on his body. This, to me, reminds me so much of the Patriots underestimating Tom Brady, assuming he would decline at 40, because that's when quarterbacks typically decline. But of course he didn't, because of the stuff he's doing off the field. This is the new blueprint for an aging superstar athlete.
George, you want to add something? Please, go ahead.
Tony, while he spends all that money on his body, he spends that money to ramp up to a certain point to be ready when the games matter. And the games don't start to matter this year till May. You got to save him from himself a little bit. It may be a tough conversation for Vogel, but he's got to have it.
Bob, I see a look on your face. You want to add something? Please, go ahead.
Yes, in 1961-62, the year in which he scored 100 points in a game. Oh, by the way, Wilt Chamberlain averaged more than 48 minutes per game played. Thank you.
Wait. Oh, because he played every minute and then they had overtime games? Wow, that is incredible.
That is 100% correct, yes.
The answer to every... The answer to every scoring record is Wilt. The answer to every minute man record is Wilt. And he also played basketball.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.